Hi, dude.
What's up, my man?
How you doing?
Good day.
Yeah, it is a good day.
It's been a good week.
It still feels early to me because my sleep's been so off.
Yeah, what time did you wake up this morning? Not at a good time.
Right when I called into the
I know.
call.
I figured.
I'm like, turn the camera off, turn the mic on mute.
Yeah.
Get ready.
I figured as much. I was like, he's here, so we're going to take it.
I was doing a 6 a.m. thing again.
Oh,
I know.
bro, that's like 20 minutes before I wake up.
I should text you.
You really should.
I should text you when I'm going to sleep.
I'm going to take a 4-hour cat nap.
You up yet?
And normally I'm pressing on the coffee at that time, roughly.
Jesus
6 to 6:30, somewhere in that window is when I'm up every day.
I wish. I'm just not that person.
I've been more methodical about it, actually.
I feel like once I have kids, that's going to be the difference. Because I keep hearing people say, if you don't get up early with your kids, you're a deadbeat dad.
I mean,
I'm like,
not wrong. I mean, I can see that. I can see the reasoning behind that statement. But yeah, no, it's nice. I do a lot of 6 to 6:30 a.m. wake ups, and I'll kind of alternate between, do I wake up and get started on my day, like work-wise?
Yeah.
Like, can I get an hour 15 of work in? Mm-hmm. Or do I do a small workout before the kids wake up?
A small workout?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just...
Push-ups? Nice.
I do, some stretching, push-ups, calisthenics, that kind of stuff, resistance.
Jesus.
Just whatever I can do in the house. Like, I don't have anything.
My wake-up routine is like check YouTube, see what new video is out in the world, and like get on like Instagram real quick and see what's going on.
Yeah, but like this morning I woke up and helped Brittany get out the door because she had a job this morning in Tampa. So I helped her out, and next thing you know, 30 minutes later, the kids are wandering out of their room a little early this morning.
Wow.
So I just was on dad duty at like 6:40 rather than like 7:15. So.
Well, your son's 6 years old. When do you let him get on social media? Look at the segue.
Oh man, 6. He can be on social as of today.
Golly.
Things change.
7.
No, right? 12.
12? What socials? Tough, right?
And
TikTok?
And honestly,
12 on TikTok is crazy.
Listen, I say 12 just because, I want to...
Like, we'll do your family account on
I
Facebook.
I want to control the narrative with him and just, be, protect him as long as I can.
Yeah.
But in reality, my niece, who just turned 9, was just allowed to be on TikTok.
Oh, wow.
At 9.
My buddy's baby, fat baby, had a TikTok at 5.
That's crazy.
I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, no way. Couldn't do it.
What are you doing?
Couldn't do it. So maybe 9, because that's what my niece just got allowed to be, and her birthday's in the summer, so whatever, 6 months ago, she was able to get on TikTok, but she couldn't be on it. She's not allowed to be on anything else. But it's her account, but my sister's logged in on her phone, so she could just double check.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So.
I mean, I guess there's good parental settings. All right, so the people want to know, what are the topics for today? Well, the first one's the Federation of Social Media. Yep. So between when we set this up and now, did you look into what that is and like kind of what's going on?
Yeah, so I hadn't really heard about it in the terms of Federation of Social Media. I mean, obviously, like the whole concept behind social media is everything's under their own siloed, centralized point, right? Yeah. So Meta, TikTok, heck, LinkedIn,
LinkedIn's booming right now.
Insane, right?
We need to get on LinkedIn.
I have not, I've always been one that I'm just kind of like, I know of LinkedIn. I have an account personally. I have one for TSM. But it's just never benefited having it.
Can we go off on a tangent on LinkedIn then?
Let's do it.
All right. So we do blogs, right? We do blogs on our website. Okay. Everyone knows how important that is for SEO.
Yep.
I mean, hopefully you know how important that is. But we should make our blogs go direct to upload onto LinkedIn immediately.
Okay.
Because blogs are getting... business professionals, see, that's the thing. Business professionals stay on LinkedIn, like CEO, like...
regularly.
Right.
Like, that's the platform that they're on.
And they're looking for blogs and things like that. So we should definitely put write-ups on that and get those views and those impressions and that sort of deal.
Well,
But it needs to be like, business applicable things.
Yeah.
It's the highest, as far as a business platform, it's the highest reach and highest viewed, best growth platform for entrepreneurs right now. And like the other ones like Glassdoor and like that has its pros and cons, but LinkedIn's the place. And running ads on LinkedIn is cheapest like per capita for how many impressions and views you get.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, people need to get on that. We need to post to that.
Okay.
We need to do it. Anyway, so Fediverse.
Yeah, that's the term that I started hearing that I was a little like, okay, so there's a name for it. So everything's being, with the desire within Fediverse is that all social media is centralized in a singular location, hence the word centralization, right? Rather than how right now it is decentralized, where it's funneled to each platform's own central point, but they all funnel into the internet rather than funnel into one specific location. Or information does.
Yeah, we had like a side conversation before this about the Fediverse, and it kind of made me leave confused on, is the Fediverse going to be its own application? Because previously I assumed that it was like if you use Instagram and you only want to use Instagram, you're going to see everything on Instagram.
Yeah.
And like if you want to do that on Facebook, the same thing. It's everything's
primarily
seen.
horizontal, vertical videos, stories, and carousels.
Yeah,
like
but
you
then
know what you're getting when you go to Instagram.
you made me think, well, what about when you post on LinkedIn, for the example, and then is that going to go to Instagram? Like, when have you ever seen a blog on Instagram, like a real blog on Instagram? So when we were talking about it, I was thinking, oh, maybe he's onto something. Maybe there's just going to be this one all-encompassing application where you're not going to be surprised by what you get. Kind of feels like Facebook's already doing that, though, don't you think?
With Meta, I mean, they're certainly attempting to, but they haven't. All the information with Meta is centralized for them. Obviously, it's not centralized when you're talking like all the other platforms, right? We can list 10 real quick if we wanted to.
Yeah.
But all Meta information is centralized, but the apps aren't. So you still click the Facebook app, you still click the Messengers app, you still click the Instagram app, and then for our business accounts, Threads, you click Threads, and then there's a specific app for business accounts. So like, I don't know about you, but like on my phone, I have 4 of those 5 in back to back to back to back, and it's like Threads being the one I don't have.
I mean, it's hard to get on. I've keep trying it, but
it just doesn't interest me at all.
No.
Does not interest me at all. And you know what Threads feels like to me? Threads feels like Instagram TV, right? Is that what it was called when
IGTV?
IGTV.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to me, where they attempt, and which is so funny that Meta is doing both, right?
Yeah.
IGTV and Threads. But IGTV was to compete with YouTube.
Right.
And talk about failing, that did not go very far, fast at all.
No.
Didn't go very fast, and then then they made an adjustment.
I think that their adjustment, sorry to cut you off, was like, this is what they did with Threads. This was the adjustment. It's like, oh, we're going to make this new thing, and then we're going to like almost force you to be on it.
Yes.
So we have everybody using it.
Yes.
Versus IGTV, it was just like, here's this thing, you can use it if you want to.
Yes.
But then we still didn't use it,
No.
and we're still not using Threads.
Yeah,
and
but
no
it
one's
was
talking about
almost,
Threads.
it was a catapult
to
the Reels tab on Instagram.
Yeah.
Because at the time,
definitely.
it was, you had your post, you had the shared with me tab, and then the IGTV tab. That obviously IGTV disappeared. Then shortly after they made the Reels button.
Yeah.
So it was like they realized like, oh, we have something here with video and with vertical video specifically, but we just need to completely revamp it, which is funny because IGTV was horizontal content. It was meant to be long form content to compete with YouTube. But Threads, all this to say, Threads feels like the same thing where they're doing this to quote unquote compete with another platform, X and Twitter being the other
What's to
platform.
compete with? That's why I was like, why are you doing this? X is dying. Nobody wants to be here.
But
They thought, oh, they don't want to be there. Let's give them something to be on. It's like, no one wants to communicate in this form anymore.
Correct. So what I think is going to happen, I personally have no idea what the adjustment is. None.
Yeah.
I can't even suspect what the adjustment is. But I do believe that Threads will change to something else. Like it will do the same thing IGTV did, which is like dissipate slightly. They'll learn 2-3 things from it, and then it'll get turned into another button on the Instagram platform.
Yeah. So I guess like, there's the stigmas. It's like all of this is stigmas, right? It's like we see Threads and we're like, oh great, another X, another Twitter. Oh, okay, whatever. So what happens when we get the Fediverse app? If it's, I believe Meta's the one who's heading it up. So if we get it from Meta, we're going to get the Meta stigma where it's like, oh great, they're taking all our information and they're selling everything and we're going to have to give more of ourselves to this. And now actually it's every single platform we're on. So even when we went to Rumble because we wanted to diversify, now Meta has this, it's like, so it's generally a good idea, like to put everything because, like we talked about and we'll talk about here is that it's like good for the creator, it's good for marketing yourself, it's good for your like influencer businesses, but
the creators and influencer businesses right there are going to benefit initially the most.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I'm not necessarily saying long term, but within the first, 6 months, they get the most value because they're able to then say that they have 50 million followers or subscribers or whatever the terminology that is used. Because right now what you'll see on like an Instagram profile of an influencer, they'll say 50 million followers across platforms. They have to have that little like asterisk because you'll look at on their Instagram profile and say, well, I see 32.1, but how are you getting 50? Oh, you're getting 50 because you're counting all of the platforms.
Which we all do. Like,
yes.
Like so in my business Mix One, like we have this banner on our website that's like, I forget the vernacular off the top of my head, but it's basically like 25,000 plus followers, and we use followers to just like discern it from like subscribers and whatever. Or I think we use fans actually, and it's like you're only going to see that though if you get to the website. And how many people actually get to the website? In like what is it? 10-15% of everyone who views your stuff might click on your website, so they don't get to see that. Marketers aren't probably checking that out either. Marketing like agencies,
Depends on the. What
depends who you are.
Depends on
like if they're like really interested, they'll click into it. But
like for TSM, we have a decent amount of traction on our website on a month-to-month basis. But we're a video production company, so naturally people want to see your portfolio. They want to see like who runs the business. They're going to initially see our work, whether that's on YouTube, Instagram, word of mouth, anything like that. Then they'll go, oh, well, like I like this one video of theirs. I was recommended to them, or I like these 2 videos on Instagram, then they'll click our website. So we're going to have a higher website click-through rate than you would for your online platform.
So the Fediverse helps influencers. Do you think it helps like business entrepreneurs? Not social media entrepreneurs, but like small businesses. How do you think it helps Two Stories Media?
Honestly, I think it's going to hurt small businesses if this moves forward.
Go in on that. Why?
Because right now, small businesses, which by all accounts we are, right? We have the benefit of multiple platforms spreading information. And if we want to put most of our eggs in one basket, we can go hard and get a lot of attraction on just Instagram, on just YouTube, and because we could play those games, we could optimize everything. We can cross promote, let's say, which is like a lot what we do between Instagram and YouTube. But if everything's under one button, the bigger companies are going to have larger resources to just own the Fediverse because every bit of information will be there.
You know what it should be? It shouldn't be a publication platform. It should be an analytics platform.
Okay.
Like, once you said that, it just made me think about that. if this, you'd get all the stigmas, you'd get all the issues if it's a publication platform. But if it's just to tap in to see what everything is at, and to then like, for the marketing agencies to say like, okay, how many do they have on everything? One quick glance, at a glance information
Portfolio based
is going to be super important, right?
Portfolio, I guess, really what
That'd
it
be
is.
way better for everybody. I think even including the small businesses.
So small businesses, there will be some, in my opinion, that will benefit substantially from a Fediverse component.
Yeah.
But I think small businesses as a whole won't benefit. I think most will suffer because all this information for those larger companies it's just easier to have it all there. I mean, if bigger companies can put everything in one location, how do you compete with them when they already have more resources?
I mean, it depends on what it all has. Like, if you look at it from the point of it just all having social media stuff, I totally get what you're saying. But, I mean, this is a huge but if this were to happen. If we're a video production company and we make a commercial or video assets or campaigns for a client, the Fediverse isn't going to include how well did that perform on someone else's platform to then come back to us. It's God, I wish things had that, because that would be the best thing for video production.
Yeah, and does the Fediverse have a means to buy straight from? Or is it just social media, no purchasing options?
Yeah. Ads. Are there going to be ads on it?
Of course there's going to be ads on it.
It's going to be bad.
There's going to be so many ads. It's so annoying.
It's also confusing. I mean, like, obviously we spend a lot of time researching it and understanding it, but then, like, even though we're getting into a world where everything's less and less real, you're going to see these numbers, you're going to see these overview analytics and think you have a better grasp of what it is, but probably half of it's going to be trash analytics. Half of it's going to be, I mean, at that point, if you see everything, then the vanity numbers are going to be at an all-time high.
Yeah.
You see how many followers you have, but does it show you how much watch time you get and how much, what's your ABD and what's your, you know,
and
your,
if it
your,
and if
your
it
ad
does
revenue.
that, and if it
it's
does
gonna
that,
expose
imagine
you?
again small businesses that don't garner as many views, so their watch time is really low. So if it shows that, it could actually kick them in the teeth even further.
Yeah, it's tough because I guess it's a world where that part of the world is going to come to an end, basically, because I mean, attention is the highest form of currency now. Like, obviously dollars pay your bills, but you don't get dollars these days without the attention. So if they don't figure it out, then they're done for, unfortunately, anyway.
Yeah.
What's that scientist thing that it's some effect, the Darwin, is that it? Darwinism?
I don't know where you're going.
I'm gonna have to cut this out. Like, if you don't,
like causation is not like.
if you don't adapt, you die.
Well, it's just adapt or die, but yeah.
There's some scientists, I don't know. Okay. The viewers know. The viewers definitely know. Yeah, I just think it's gonna be tough. I think it's gonna be. There's so many good things for it, and then there's like tons of negatives for it. I think they're gonna see this one day, and they're gonna be like, yeah, you know what? Analytics platform. This is no longer a publication. So, I personally would hate that. I'd figure out how to use it, but I would hate that. You know, I heard this story. This is another little tangent, but I heard this story the other day. Have you heard of the platform, the Social Proof podcast?
No. Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
I might have sent it to you. I've been watching a lot lately. They had this guy on there. I don't know his name. Sorry, people, I don't know his name. But he was talking about this, how social media pages have a ton of value. And he was way overvaluing things. I had to do my research to figure this out. This kind of goes in on there's so much fake things happening on the internet that you aren't doing your research on. So have you heard of the page called Daquan?
No.
It's an Instagram page. It's a theme page. It's all memes.
Okay.
And this guy on Social Proof was talking about it, and he was saying, like, hey, guess how much this page sold for? Like
it physically sold it.
Warner Music bought this page.
Okay.
How much do you think it sold for? I'll ask you, and we'll just see what you say. It had 15 million followers.
Okay.
It was super high engagement rate. I don't know those metrics off the top of my head, but super high engagement rate. Okay. Very known platform. Okay. If you were going to buy that 15 million high engagement rate, how much do you think it's worth?
1.5 mil.
Okay, it's a good guess. It's kind of on par with what the guys guessed in the show.
Okay.
Well, so the guy who's talking about it says, oh, actually it was sold for $83 million. Okay, and the guy on Social Proof reacts, and it's this whole thing. And I'm telling my buddy about it, and I'm saying, like, dude, can you believe this? Imagine selling an account.
An account, not even a platform, just an account
for
within
$83 million. Imagine selling an account for $1 million.
Yeah.
It's insane. And my buddy says, but how do you know it's true? And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, he said it, and he's like, yeah, but how do you know it's true? Like, show me your
The source.
yeah, show me your sources. And so I pull up the guy saying, and he's like, no, you're not understanding. He's like, what are his sources? And I was like, oh, I guess I don't know. It dawned on me like, oh, I totally just took in this information and did not do any research besides take him for his word because he's an influencer, right? This is nothing against him, but...
Of course.
So...
You're just talking information base.
Yeah,
like,
so he says, go and look it up. Like, look in front of me. And I'm looking it up, and I show him, like, it wasn't BuzzFeed, but like a BuzzFeed article. And he's like, no, that's still repeating the same thing. What's the actual source? So I look up who owned Daquan. It was like a middle-aged Indian gentleman from like New York or something like that. Pretty unexpected because Daquan is like hood memes basically. And so I look him up and I'm like, what does this guy do? He owns a media company, IMGN Media, right? And okay. What does he own? He owns multiple platforms like Daquan, like 30 platforms like Daquan. His media company sold to Warner Media for $83 million.
The whole media.
Everything he has.
The whole portfolio.
Yes.
The portfolio.
Right. And I'm totally bamboozled from scrolling on social media, from seeing this. I'm like, oh yeah, this guy definitely knows what he's talking about.
An ounce of that information was accurate, just stated improperly.
Right.
Not even an ounce. We should say the information was accurate, just stated improperly.
Right.
That probably was the number one. I have 15 million followers.
Yeah.
That might have had that account might have been the largest account that.
But the next one could be 14 million. Right?
Correct.
And then down 30 other accounts.
Or that one could just been the most well known, while the other ones maybe had more followers, which is interesting, right? Like there's something to be said there. Like you can have more followers but be less known.
Right.
It's a weird.
If your followers are in a niche somewhere, that like it's not the everyday household name sort of deal. Yeah, of course.
But that's interesting.
Crazy, right?
So the whole media company, he sold his entire portfolio
to Warner Music Group.
Dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, it's like they look at it like acquiring any business. Like if you look at a business, you're like, if I acquire this, how can I turn this into a better money platform or source or whatever? And they look at it the same way. If I buy all these, like how can I now, sell stuff? Now I can sell Daquan merch because I have the connections and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, I thought it was crazy.
Interesting.
Just weird, random story.
Okay.
It kind of reminded me of, and maybe you can get into it. So obviously the next topic we're going to talk about is brand versus branding. And it reminded me of the story that you were telling on a podcast you did a couple of days ago where you were talking about the Stanley mugs.
Yeah.
And like, I want you to tell that story, but after this whole Daquan thing happened, I was like, I wonder how true that story is.
Yeah, so I mean, that brings up some valid points because see if I can find the article so that way, we can source it right here and just clearly dictate the source because I did read it and it was remarkably interesting to me that 2013, Stanley was said to be a $35 million company. So like that's what.
And so if people don't know what Stanley is, what is Stanley?
Stanley's the super common metal mug that everyone's used to seeing. Like it traditionally, or at the time, traditionally was a green mug. Blue collar workers, construction workers, would just have this mug and hold hot and cold drinks.
Beat it up, like throw it on the ground, you drop it off a building.
Pretty much can destroy the thing and not destroy
and still have hot coffee afterwards.
Like
or
it's
cold
crazy,
water.
right?
Okay.
It's like the mug that you would expect to see construction workers in New York building a skyscraper 30 stories up, like taking a sip of, right?
Yeah.
And it traditionally came in green. The I want to say 2013 or 2017. My numbers might be a little off there, but let's just say 2013, they were valued publicly at a $35 million company. A mom that had a mom blog, wrote an article, posted a video about how it was the best mug for chasing kids and day to day. Like, she was a mom of like 3 or 4, and I guess she had like a big time mom blog. And she posted that, like, oh, this mug is my savior every day, chasing my 3 kids around. Like, I literally don't go anywhere without this mug.
I just wish it came in purple.
So, because she posted on a mom blog, a bunch of moms buy it, a bunch of moms, increase their market value and their market shares. CEO then says, oh, well, let's stop making green, black, and silver. I think were the only ones that they had at the time.
Yeah.
The CEO and their leadership group and whatever designers, they say, oh, well, let's make I think they made white and blue because of that.
Man. Okay.
More sales.
Keep going. I got a part for it.
They made more sales. They then made an adjustment and added 4, 5, 10 colors, plus accessories, plus different sizes throughout the years. 2023 rolls around just this past year, and they went from a $35 million company, which by all accounts is a insanely successful company.
Yeah.
Like,
definitely.
You do not scoff at being a $35 million company. They just went to 170 million.
It's crazy.
Absolutely insane. Like, they just catapulted up. Go to their website, and they have 15 different options, sizes wise. They have accessories out the hoo-ha, and any color you want. And they leaned into this new audience that
Which
they
is
had.
who's the audience?
It was
moms.
Essentially turned into moms. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Are you ready for this? Did you hear about what just happened with Stanley?
No.
Oh man. There's a collab. Stanley collab. It was Stanley and Starbucks.
Okay.
And there was a pink and a red, and you could only get them at Target.
Oh my God.
They sold out immediately. They're reselling right now for triple the price.
Oh my God.
What are they, $50? They're $150 on eBay right now. Crazy.
Absolutely insane.
Or not even just eBay. There's other reselling places that and then those are more targeted to who? Moms. Starbucks, Target, come on. So you're talking about lean in, and then they quadruple their value, and then they just laid on top of it.
Yeah. So it's all that for brand versus branding. That question that you posed, right? Brand is your perception in the market and how you want to be perceived. Branding is how you execute that brand and ensure you are seen that way.
Yeah.
Right? It's your strategy behind
Yeah.
your brand. So it's the it's the ing, it's the action of your brand.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, the action
I don't
behind
think
it.
I've ever thought about that before. Yeah.
So with any company that continues to develop and just grow, you want to make sure your branding is constantly occurring, right? And if you make a change, you have to make sure that change hits hard and heavy, so that way your brand is exactly how you want it to be perceived, right?
Yeah.
So
something I want to learn about is tell me if I'm wrong. I mean, it seems like it's way easier to brand something and provide branding for something that's new. But what do you do when you need to do it for a 20-year-old company? How do you, I guess this is why there aren't 30-year-olds in Sea Org of Gerber. They're all older and 45, maybe 50, maybe, I don't know. How do you go in and work on the branding and brand of a 200-year-old company and provide for that without messing it up?
First of all, you have to know what part of your brand is successful. Because if it's already, if you take a brand and you have 5 pieces of that brand, right?
Yeah.
You need to know in what order are they the most well recognized, right? So if you want to take Gerber, for example,
Yeah.
like what's the first thing that comes to mind with Gerber? Like
Baby food? I mean,
so
I don't know, I guess.
you want to ensure that the baby food component is touched as little as possible because that's for all intents and purposes your bread and butter, right?
Right.
So,
So you're brought on, right? Let's say, like, obviously you do more sales and you do more of like the running the business aspect. So I guess maybe you have a good point of view is if you're bringing someone on for marketing, every time you bring someone on, you want them to also disrupt. What are the disruptors you're going to bring to this company so we can find out what's working, what's not working, how we can be achieved more? What would you look for in a disruptor coming into Gerber? You've got kids. I don't have kids, so Gerber's not even doesn't ever hit my shopping
cool.
cart.
We'll talk. Well, yeah. Thanks for just throwing a random company on me mid-conversation here. I had no idea this was coming.
It's authentic.
Yeah, it is authentic. I did not, in any way, shape, or form, prepare for this. It's weird. Like for Gerber, for example, babies, waddlers, toddlers. As you walk down that line, like I would look less and less at Gerber for my toddler.
Yeah.
So that's a disruptor. I would find a way to have more of a hold on the toddler market because perception-wise, right off the bat, I mean, I have 2 kids. One of them is back there as we speak.
Yeah.
6 and 3. So credibility-wise, I'm all in it right now. I would say that as my wife and I bought things and like looked in the baby aisles and we looked less and less at Gerber as our oldest was turning 3. I just never really thought of their products as useful to us. Now
Right.
maybe I ended up buying something from there, but I just didn't look at them.
Right.
If that makes sense. Like if
Yeah.
something was in front of me and it just so happened to be what I needed and it was Gerber,
Yeah.
I was grabbing it off the shelf
Yeah.
or putting it in my Amazon cart or something like that. But I wasn't like innately thinking Gerber.
So you're Gerber, baby.
Oh yeah.
I'm on toddler. Now it's something else. Okay. So you'd be looking for, like, I heard someone talking about this. It might have been Gary Vee talking about this. Where they're taking Gerber and what they're doing is the way they disrupt is not by changing anything innately with Gerber, but they're creating a disruptor brand. So it might be like, instead of Gerber, it's Todd Lee or whatever, name something. And then that is white label Gerber product, Gerber staff, Gerber, chain of command,
It's a
whatever.
subsidiary essentially.
And then now they're getting to your toddlers with this other brand, which, that's the thing that I don't know if you think about that as a 30-year-old marketing person is like, oh, I can take this brand and make a disruptor brand. I could take, you could take 2 Stories Media and make 3 Stories Media, and then that's just a disruptor, but it's still you.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. No, it makes sense. These are all things that even we're still learning. I mean, we're heavily immersed in the business world right now, right? And only doing more and more. So, you know what? That's going to lead me to a question I had for you. Is
Oh God.
yeah, there you go. For someone starting a business, give them $500 cold hard cash. How would you recommend they spend that money?
$500 cash. So I'm walking up to someone and say, "Here's $500. I need you to flip this and make me some money."
You need to start a business.
How do I want
you
you
need
to
to
do
be
it?
You need to be in the business world. Like you can't just
$500 is a decent amount of money.
yeah.
Do I want to do it correct? Like, do I want to be all legal about it, or do I like not care how the money's made?
All right. Put a little asterisk on it that within the next 12 months you have to be 100% legal.
Okay.
So you're heading towards full legality status, but you got to start bringing in some revenue and making some adjustments.
In 12 months, what kind of return am I looking for?
Just a return.
Just
A return.
$501 counts.
But knowing that on the day that hits 1 year, you're filing your LLC, you're ensuring you have a business account up and running. You are
$500. I probably. What's the number you need to hit before you have to tax it? Is it 400 or 500 or 600?
600.
600?
600.
No taxes, baby. We're spending. We're spending that 500. I would say we need to pick a business that's like easy to get into, that everyone's doing.
Low barrier of entry.
Right. So it's just like you. Give me an example business. I'll see if I can make you money on it.
All right. You're going to do apparel.
Apparel's the hardest. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But not really, because of drop shipping.
That's exactly where I was going to go. Perfect. A lot of people would think, okay, I'm going to do apparel. Let me buy a bunch of stock. And it's like, no. You don't want to hold on to stuff. Because then, say you have $500, you drop 3 on stock, and then you've got 200 to then spend to market it. That's going to be tough, right? So I would say you get $500. I would find a drop shipping company right away that it's just a middleman for you. There's a company like, Printful, where you can make your designs, you can put it on the shirts, you can have no tags on the shirts, so you don't have to have like Fruit of the Loom or whatever they are. Yeah. People don't need to know what that is. It devalues it. And I would make shirts that have sayings on it that are applicable to anyone. Best dad, number one dad. I mowed the lawn today. I drank my coffee this morning. Nice. Don't bother me. Like, I would pick the most generic phrases possible. Okay. Have my drop shipping set up where I have like, I would say spend a lot of time making that. Time's money. I'm assuming you're broke. I gave you $500 to go do this. So I would spend a lot of time making like 50 to 100 different style shirts, but all sayings, right? And then I would tell you to go make a Shopify, link it to your Printful account, and then link it to Amazon.
Oh, wow.
Go put everything up on Amazon. You've spent, the only money you've perceivably spent is paying for your Shopify account, and then if there is Amazon costs up front, you'd be paying for that. I wish I knew what that was, because that would...
I don't
know if there is.
I don't believe there are.
Because they take off of your purchase.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
But you do have to get approved. It's just...
Are you paying for approval? I don't think so.
You're not paying for approval, but you're ensuring that all your ducks are in a row.
Right.
To be approved.
Right. So at this point, we've probably spent $0. Maybe you bought Photoshop. You buy Canva, $24 a month, right? Yeah. So there you go. You spent a little bit of that $5. You make all your designs on Canva, Printful, Shopify, Amazon.
Website?
No, I wouldn't make a website.
Okay.
Because you're going to sell directly from Amazon. So again, you're cutting your costs, right?
Okay. Interesting.
I would make an Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all that stuff. Next thing I'd spend money on is some type of repurposing platform so I can post on one place and have it all go somewhere. Maybe if you rewind a little bit, I'd buy one piece of everything. Or one piece of what I think is going to do well, one shirt.
So you're
going to buy some stock,
yeah.
Or you're going to buy one, and you're going to buy it, you're going to get the sample rates. So you're going to get a 30% off or something like that.
Gotcha.
Because you need it to then make the content.
Yeah, and it's got to be in your size, so that way you can wear it, or your significant other, or your best friend.
Yeah,
or,
I'd find someone that's just
neighbor.
like what you think is the best appeal to the masses, right? And whatever those things are. So if it's all about my dads, I would find teens, or like probably teens don't wear that, a little bit younger than teens, just because your parents are buying it, whatever. And then I would just, if I have a year, I would spend 3 months just making all the content. Like, I don't know if I'm even dropping the content yet. Coming up with a strategy on how you're going to release it, et cetera, and then you start putting that stuff out, and you become an influencer in that 12 months. Now, I'm telling you, okay, I gave you the money, we got you set up, now go be an influencer and sell these products on social media and get your clicks through.
Yeah, so...
you could flip 500 easily.
I was going to say, like in this situation, you're pocketing a good amount of cash up front in order to have that cash flow for later decision making.
I guess my whole advice is just spend as little as possible. So
you have more for later.
Right.
Because costs are going to come up. Mm-hmm. Something's going to pop up, an opportunity. some sort of publication, a travel gig,
Yeah.
a pop-up show that you have to drop $100
Mm-hmm.
to be, for some sort of a flea market situation,
Yeah.
or city market.
Mm-hmm.
Flea markets aren't really around anymore. I mean, there's
I know. Gotta love them though.
you were big on flea markets.
And then it gets a little too dirty, and you're like, I don't know, I
Yeah.
want to keep going.
But yeah, but like city markets have them, or like downtown. Dunedin has one. The
Oh
first,
yeah, I would go to things like that.
Those
You're
are-
trying
those-
to take this stuff to like people who've got extra money to
Yes.
spend, who are willing to drop. If let's say your shirt's, let's say you spend 13 and it's $20, like you're still making a pretty good return on it.
Yep.
And then you're just selling that left and right at those markets. So yeah, keep going. What were you gonna say?
So all this to say, just in 5 minutes, we relatively proved that it's possible to do something, right?
Oh, yeah.
So if you have the desire to be an entrepreneur, you just gotta start.
Yeah,
So
literally.
it's such a easy thing to say, and
I know it's
someone-
just like it's
someone who just-
laughable, right?
Yeah,
like,
someone probably
they're
just
like,
hear-
oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, someone exactly. That was
Just start.
literally what I was about to say. Is someone just hearing this just rolled their eyes at me, and
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
But how many times we procrastinate and don't do something? It's just that simple.
Yeah.
And I was listening to a podcast the other day on what was the topic? It was about auditing your workflow. That's what it was
Oh
about.
yeah.
It's auditing your workflow. And
Oh.
he
tough.
goes, that's literally what he said. He was like, if you are someone who works nonstop once you start,
Mm-hmm.
can you think of all the times that you haven't started something? And I was like, well, I feel like that's an attack, a personal attack, because
I'm like,
that just, it hits so differently, right? Like just hearing someone tell you that, and you're just like, yeah, I personally am one that, like, once I start something, I fly through a wall,
yeah.
and I'm just nonstop.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
But if I don't start, how can I be that person? It's like, oh shit, like that really hit. Like it's such a simple thing, but like when it was worded that way, I was like, oh, that's why I need to continue to be that person.
Mm-hmm.
And once I start a task, I tend to complete it. But you
Yeah.
just got to start it. So if
Yeah.
you want to be an entrepreneur, if you have an idea, if you don't want to be that starving artist anymore, if you are a phenomenal painter, you need to start an account to sell your paintings.
Yeah.
If you are big into culture, then find something that you can make extra money, and instead of it being a side hustle, it turns into your main hustle.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a way to be an entrepreneur. Most people have it in them. It's not cut out for everybody. It's the truth of the matter. I mean, we can't have, 3 trillion entrepreneurs. That's just not how it works.
Yeah.
However, more people can do this. They just have to lean into their niche.
Mm-hmm.
And with $500, you can a lot of times start something.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's great advice. I guess I would have one follow-up piece of advice and then one separate thing is that, so your advice to new entrepreneurs, people getting started, is to just start. Like, brass tacks, just start
Yes.
doing whatever it is.
And I can give you 5 ways to start right now if you want.
Right. No, that's okay. So, I'm like, no, let's cut this off soon. I would say, like, the hardest. You're right. The hardest part of like getting a rocket ship to space is the first combustion. Right. Like it's all in the explosion.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do it. But then, when that rocket's going to space, there's always a little bit of thrust, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's always still going. I would say have no 0 days. Like don't always do something.
Every day.
Every day. Whether it's like, if it's just you putting 30 minutes in, do it.
Yeah.
It's gonna help. Because
Yeah.
when you stop,
on a Sunday, even just 30 minutes.
just 30 minutes. And that's not taking away from your time with your kids and your family, and that's not like taking away from the you time, because you have a whole lot more. You have 23 more hours of that, right? but just 30 minutes, and that way, so you always are putting in the effort.
Yep.
Is it's the hardest thing is then to start again.
Yep.
Right. And then my other last piece of advice would be you don't have to be the one man. You can be the two man.
Yep.
And you can make more money than a lot of people. So you don't have to be an entrepreneur. You don't have to go start your own business and this and that. You can work for someone. The number 2 guy at Tesla makes more money than 99% of the entrepreneurs you know. Right?
Good point.
Right? So it's you don't have to be that. Just find what you love to do and do that. You don't have to own your own business.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? It's kind of
Let's go. Good way to put it. Good way to put it.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, what's that, episode 1 then?
Yeah, episode 1.
I felt like this one was good.
I mean, it was a great first start.
Yeah. Right.
We'll have our second one posting shortly, and we'll just keep it going.
Yeah. We'll get on a routine for sure. All right, guys. Viewers, thank you all for watching.
Appreciate it.
Goodbye.